Hello and welcome to a demonstration of ParcelX powered by SolutionsX. ParcelX powered by SolutionsX simplifies parcel shipping by integrating SyteLine with UPS WorldShip and FedEx Ship Manager. The service acts as a bridge between ERP data and shipping software, eliminating double data entry and manual updates. With just a few clicks, shipping information is automatically pulled into the shipping system, and once shipments are processed, costs and tracking data are sent back to SyteLine. Here's an overview of the capabilities of ParcelX. The service can bring address information from SyteLine into shipping software. ParcelX can sync tracking data and costs back into SyteLine after shipping occurs. The service supports using ship via types to allow shipping account numbers and service types to be saved in SyteLine and brought over to UPS and FedEx. ParcelX supports all the standard order types in SyteLine: pick, pack, ship, order shipping, service orders, and transfer orders. Here are some of the optional features which can be enabled when utilizing ParcelX and Pick, Pack, and Ship. Freight costs can be brought back from the shipping software and put onto invoices. ParcelX can change the shipment status from open to ready when the shipment is shipped in UPS or FedEx. Account numbers can be brought from SyteLine into UPS and FedEx to bill the customer for freight. Next, I'll jump over to an example for Pick, Pack, and Ship. Here in SyteLine, we have this open shipment created. The data from this shipment will flow into UPS and FedEx. For instance, if I adjust the ship via code, the service type populated in UPS and FedEx will be different. Right-clicking on this ship via, we can see the carrier service type, which contains the value for what is populated in the shipping software. Next, we'll go over to FedEx to see what all that looks like. Here we have this pop-up box which will allow us to enter the site the shipment's coming from and the shipment ID. Once we do that, all the data for the shipment will be populated. We can see that our service type is FedEx 2-day, which is what we specified on the shipment master. Also, it's brought in the bill transportation to as recipient because on the customer record we've defined that, and we have the account number defined too. Once we ship this shipment, everything will be synced back to SyteLine. If we go back into SyteLine, in the shipment master record, we can see that the data from FedEx synced back. We have the number of packages that were shipped, the total weight, our tracking number. If we look at the charges tab, we can see that the cost has been synced back from FedEx. And if we click here to open the shipment tracking form, all of the tracking numbers that get synced back from the shipping software shows up here, including those that have been voided. That covers everything for Pick, Pack, and Ship. Next, we'll look at customer order shipping. Here are some of the optional features when utilizing ParcelX with customer order shipping. Freight costs can be synced back to the customer order, and customer account numbers can be brought into FedEx and UPS. Next, we'll jump over to an example of using ParcelX for customer orders. With this example, I have ParcelX configured to look for planned and open orders. All of the customer address data from this order will be brought into the shipping software. For example, if I were to change the ship via to FedEx Ground, we will see that reflected in the data that gets brought over to FedEx. Next, I'm going to open up the ParcelX Ship to Carrier form to add in an account number for this customer's FedEx account. Here I already have one created. We could also specify another one for UPS if it was needed. Next, I'm going to go over to FedEx to show what this order looks like when we import it. Here in this box, I'm going to put the site that this order comes from and the order number. Here we can see the order has a service type of ground, and we can also see that the account number that we set up is here as well. When we ship this, we'll see that tracking data and the freight cost will be brought back into SyteLine. We will go ahead and do that and then jump back over to SyteLine to see what that looks like. In SyteLine on the customer orders form, if we go over to the amounts tab, we can see that the freight for that shipment has been added. If we go to the ParcelX order parcel tracking form and filter for that order, we can see that the tracking number has been brought back. All tracking numbers for this order will be shown here, along with any that have been voided. That concludes ParcelX being used for customer order shipping. Next, we'll move on to showing an example of service order shipping. In this example, ParcelX is set up to monitor for open service orders. I'm going to go ahead and filter for a service order I know is open. The address data from the Customers tab will be what is brought across to FedEx and UPS. We can also change the ship via code here to update what service type comes across to FedEx and UPS. I'm also going to go over to the ParcelX Ship to Carrier form to enter in a FedEx account number for this customer in the same way we did for customer order shipping and pick, pack, ship. We can also define a UPS account number for this customer if it was required. Next, we'll go over to FedEx to see what that looks like. Here in FedEx, I'm going to enter in our service order number from SyteLine. We can see we have the address data from SyteLine, the service type, and the account number. Once I ship this, the tracking data will be brought back in the same way it was for customer order shipping. Jumping back over to SyteLine, I'm going to open up the ParcelX service order parcel tracking form where we can see that. Filtering for that service order number, we can see that the tracking data from FedEx is here. This form will also show any tracking data that has been voided in FedEx or UPS. That concludes using ParcelX for service orders. Next, we'll do an example for transfer orders. In this example, ParcelX is set up to monitor for open transfer orders. I'm going to go ahead and filter to a transfer order I know is open. I'm going to change our ship via so that that gets reflected in the service type in FedEx. I'm also going to go over to the ParcelX warehouse carriers form. This will allow us to define an account number that we can bring across to UPS or FedEx. We can specify account numbers per site and per warehouse as required. The address data for this transfer order comes from the site and warehouse that's specified. If I go over to the Lund site and filter for the warehouse that was on the transfer order, we can see the address data that will come across to FedEx and UPS. Next, we'll switch over into FedEx to see what that looks like. I'm going to enter in our transfer order number. And here we can see the address data from that warehouse, the service type we specified, and the account number all came across. That concludes our demonstration of ParcelX powered by SolutionsX. With these examples, you can see the utility ParcelX brings to the shipping processes in SyteLine.